like to call the Site Plan Review Committee to order for Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. Roll call, please.
President Kardasky.
Here.
Gary Paul.
Here.
Dennis Persick.
Here.
Carrie Rathburn.
Here.
Andy Kurowski, Dale Quinn, and Dan Pamprin are excused.
Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And please remember our men and women throughout the world in uniform. I have no changes to the agenda. I need a motion.
Move to approve as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion carried. Action on the minutes of the July 21, 2026 Site Plan Review Committee.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve those minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion carried. 6, items for discussion and possible action. 6A, consider, discuss, act on a site plan review request for temporary signage for Spirit Halloween at 2777 South Oneida Street, parcel VA-178-4 in the village of Ashwaubenon. Aaron.
All right, thank you. Let's share my screen. This is the annual request from Spirit Halloween for their temporary signage for their store at the former Joanne Fabrics, as you can see up on screen. Because the sign exceeds the maximum square footage and time allotment that village staff can approve administratively, it does have to come to Site Plan Review Committee for review and approval. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Same thing, different date.
Correct.
Move to approve to the request to, I'm on the wrong page here. Don't want to do that one yet. Motion to approve the temporary signage of Spirit Halloween at 2777 South Oneida Street parcel at the village of Ashwaubenon from August 5th through October 31st of 26.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the temporary signage for Spirit Halloween. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion carried. 6B, consider, discuss, act on a requested amendment to the Titletown District Phase 1 Planned Unit Development, PUD, overlay zoning for a fourth wall sign at Lodge Kohler at 1950 South Ridge Road, parcel VA-48-3. Aaron.
All right, thank you. I'll share my screen again to just bring up the image from Lodge Kohler. The request, as you can see on the image, is for a fourth wall sign for the hotel. This would be on the west elevation, basically facing towards and into the Titletown district. Because this is part of a planned unit development, it does require a formal PUD amendment for the request. As indicated, wall signs are currently located on the east, south, and north elevations. As noted, this will be on the west elevation. The new sign will be similar in size and scope as those currently that exist on the building. As the signage would face primarily to the west, it really would not impact the residential neighborhood to the south of the Titletown district. The representatives of Lodge Kohler are in the audience if you have any questions for them.
I don't have any problems. I mean, the walls are big enough, I
No
think, to
problems
support.
there.
So,
Seems very reasonable to me, yeah, request.
Make a motion, Dennis.
Move to approve. I don't have it in front of me.
I'll second it.
okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the requested amendment to the Titletown District Phase 1 Planned Unit Development overlay zoning for a fourth wall sign at Lodge Kohler at 1950 South Ridge Road, parcel VA-48-3.
And if I could, just to be clear, this is a recommendation for approval. It'll go to Plan Commission on Thursday and then Village Board at the end of the month.
Yes. Okay, everybody understands? Any questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. 6C, consider discuss act on a requested third amendment to the planned unit development PUD overlay zoning for West Point Center at 460 Marina Lane, parcel VA-132-16, VA-132-13, and VA-132-15. Aaron?
All right, thank you. I will share my screen again. This request came in after approval by the village board of a revised amendment to the West Point Center planned unit development. The PUD is currently approved, as noted in the staff report, does indicate, it does include the CBRF for memory care that you see right here. It includes a 55-plus senior apartments with no supportive housing designation. And this area right here is green space. So again, that's what was approved by the village board. I believe that was in May or June, I forget which one. The applicants have, subsequent to that approval, brought forth their requested third amendment to the planned unit development. And again, I do want to stress that this is for review of the site plan only. So this is not for review of the PUD or the policy of the rezoning, so on and so forth. We're looking at strictly basically the site plan, exterior elevations, just like we have in the past. Just want to make sure that that's clear. So along with that, then you see the site plan. So this would be the CBRF assisted living to be located here. The RCAC apartment building right here. And then the site plan you see here. I will include the elevations for Silverstone assisted living. The assisted living, as indicated here, is very similar to what's currently approved for the memory care facility and the, again, 55-plus senior apartment building without supportive housing designation. Materials include primarily stone, board and batten siding, all of which are basically a LP type material, consistent with our code. In terms of the recommended conditions of approval, primarily, I'll make a note here that I'll read through the recommended conditions of approval just for the record. Approval by the Ashwaubenon Village Board of a third amendment to the PUD zoning overlay for West Point Center. So again, the site plan would not come into effect until and if the village board would happen to approve the requested third amendment. All parking areas, landscape islands, and drive areas are to have curbing, either conventional, curb pan, or rolled. Screen any rooftop or ground-mounted mechanical units visible from the property boundaries or South Broadway or Marina Lane rights-of-way. Work with a qualified environmental consultant to remain in compliance with DNR voluntary party liability exemption for closed case number 06-05-343-470 throughout utility taps, construction, and restoration. Use full cutoff and shielded lighting to prevent glare into the hotel windows to the east. Siding materials are to be engineered wood or cement board. Lap siding is limited to no more than 25% of the surface area of any one elevation. Meet all applicable requirements of the Ashwaubenon site plan review and all other applicable village ordinances. From engineering, revise the grading plan along the north property line to include a swale so runoff stays on site and is treated by the existing storm pond. Also from engineering, indicate where the sanitary sewer holding tank / grease trap is located on the utility plan per building if required. Stormwater management, complete maintenance on the stormwater pond, including trash, sediment, vegetation removal, etc. Update the stormwater management plan with the new utility layout. Revise the grading plan along the north property line to include a swale so runoff stays on site and is treated by the existing storm pond. From public safety, police, and fire, the fire sprinkler system shall be equipped with a storage type fire department connection located on the front address side of the building. All new buildings are required to have Knox key box installed 5 feet from grade and within 5 feet of the front main entrance on the address side of each building. Private fire hydrants shall not be located within 40 feet of any building. Fire hydrants shall be no more than 10 feet and no less than 5 feet from the curb or edge of the fire apparatus, access road, or fire lane. Fire hydrants located in parking lot islands shall be a minimum of 3.5 feet from the center of the hydrant to the curb. And we had no comments from forestry or bicycle and pedestrian. The applicants, I'm not sure if they're online or not, but They're not here in the audience, but I'll happy to answer any questions that you may have.
So Aaron, I have a question. The original site plan had amenities. It had a pool, it had a grilling area, it had pickleball courts, I believe.
Correct.
The second amendment that we approved didn't have all, they took some of those out.
Correct. So the First Amendment maintained the pool, pickleball courts, grilling areas, so on and so forth. The Second Amendment removed all, except they did add a pickleball court.
In that far north corner, they had pickleball courts.
Correct.
There are there's nothing on this one.
Correct.
There's no amenities on this one at all. So I have issues with that.
Okay.
I agree, Mary. This is kind of rehearsal on what we had.
Yeah, I think,
But as Aaron said, we are approving the materials used, which does meet all of our recommendations and ordinances that we have in this village to build a structure of this type.
For the site plan review, correct?
Just so this is just for the buildings, and the fact that they took the pickleball courts out doesn't matter?
correct. So you're really focused on what elements of the existing site plan requirements are found in code. The one caution that I would have, and it may be a conversation with our village attorney, being that we're essentially presenting this in advance of an approved PUD ordinance amendment, it may be viewed as premature to adopt with conditions this site plan, because the planning commission could ultimately recommend conditions within the PUD ordinance, and the village board could ultimately adopt conditions or standards that are in addition to what is currently found in code. So the site plan that's being presented today is essentially modeling the requirements of existing code, but under a plan unit development ordinance, the village board could ultimately adopt additional requirements or a change in requirements that could have an ultimate impact on this site plan and would result in them having to basically go through the process again to ensure that the site plan meets the requirements of the adopted planned unit development ordinance that, in theory, if it gets adopted, may contain.
Okay, I got it. Okay. So this doesn't, it's the buildings and the materials. Okay.
Well, understanding that, but could we make a motion to add the amenities in that they've taken away?
Not at this committee.
Not at this
That would
committee.
have to be
Okay.
plan board or village
That
board.
has to go to village board probably.
Might it be wise to, or even appropriate for us to hold off on making a decision until after the plan commission looks at it?
I think it's probably, so including the condition that village board approves the PUD as a condition of approval of the site plan, I think it is appropriate. If the village board ultimately approves any changes to the site plan different from what was approved here, we have to bring it back to our site plan review committee just to finalize those changes. But if there are no changes, it would not have to come back.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, it's just the buildings and materials.
Buildings and materials, all right, we don't have a choice here. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the site plan for the request of the Third Amendment for the PUD of the West Point Center on Marina Way.
With staff conditions?
Staff conditions, definitely.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the Third Amendment to the Planned Unit Development Overlay Zoning for West Point Center, 460 Marina Lane, parcels VA-132-16, VA-132-13, and VA-132-15 with staff conditions. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 7, items for next agenda.
I do have one, yep.
Okay, we will have a meeting. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Get your name.
Opposed?
My response.
Motion carried, we're done.